Known as the Soulful Publicist, Tanya Khani challenges societal norms by creating a paradigm shift, using mainstream media as the catalyst, bringing stories in alignment with soul consciousness. Beyond media and messaging, Tanya has a voice like no other that can only be defined as soul opera.
While society tells us to pick a lane and stay in it, you advise otherwise. In your words, Tanya, your soul can call to many things. Mm-hmm. I agree. Curious to know, what are the many things that your soul calls to?
Well, I love this question because I feel like I just put this out on my Instagram as a post. And I want to speak to the fact that we are multidimensional beings and there's not this one defined purpose, and purpose doesn't define who we are. So when we're looking for that soul calling, as we evolve and as we change, so does our soul callings. And, with an S, plural, because there's so many things our soul calls to. And if we listen to that and we follow that, that's when we find true alignment. It really is. It's just about feeling aligned and connected to what we're doing. And it could very well be that you are in a 9-to-5 and your soul is calling to creating music, but you don't have to leave your 9-to-5 to pursue music. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you are, again, a quantum being, multidimensional. So for me, as I've been evolving and opening up my expressive gifts, as a soulful publicist, that is one of my callings, is to disrupt the system by telling stories of alternative, non-traditional practices and getting it into mainstream media, bringing that bridge. And then there's just this beautiful thing that's come through, which is through my voice and through movement. So I have a connection to dance, and I have a connection to singing by singing classical voice or opera and using my channeled quantum gifts while singing.
That is amazing. Yeah. So anyone who's told pick a lane, stay in it, you're not designed to be in just one lane, are you? Are we?
Yeah, no, I love that. And because I feel like there's this pressure to know why we're on this earth and what we're meant to do. And I have many friends who have started that one thing and closed that business and started a new one, because our soul is incarnating and shifting as we are evolving and shifting, because now we're being met with new things. And when it's misaligned, then we look for the alignment in other things.
Yeah. No, I love that. Right. So to not fight that shift, but rather just to follow it, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah. Your business is your baby, but you don't have to be attached to it. It's not who you are. You are many things.
Right. Well, I love it. I think it's so beautiful. So acknowledgement of the soul and of our connection with spirit isn't often accepted in the systems that our society operates on. Mm-hmm. In your opinion, how do we bridge that gap between traditional processes and non-traditional practices?
Yeah, that's really good.
Huh?
I feel like that's part of my mission in this world. Because I say things like, I say things of the matter of, I don't subscribe to woo-woo, and I want to be in a place where actually alternative methods or alternative healing is no longer considered alternative. That's what I aim to see in this world. And with the non-traditional, again, right, like air quotes, non-traditional practices and these ancient practices, I think with everything, when you build a conversation and you create awareness, there seems to be this shift in perception. And one way of doing that, because, the work I do as a soulful publicist or in the media, is when you bring that practice or ancient teaching through TV, I mean, you're quite literally broadcasting. So you're casting people to believe something or not to believe something. And most people are getting their information through media, whether they should follow this or buy this or be influenced by this. We're always being plugged into information through media, mass media, and that's TV, podcasts, even things that you absorb on social media, but specifically on TV. If you keep bringing attention and awareness to a certain methodology or a message or a story, then it starts to land for people, and there creates a conversation where things can actually come to life and be present and alive for people. So that's kind of what I see. And us just having this conversation and being more in the acceptance of, hey, science can't explain all miracles, or science can't explain all these healings that happen while people are in transition. We really have to understand that ancient teachings gets to coexist with Western medicine, with the traditional practices. So that's what I believe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes good sense, right? If we're saying, and even if we look at the word traditional, traditional medicine, well, but tradition being based on like something that's, trusted over a period of time, and the way that things are done, it used to be done a different way,
Mm-hmm.
And so for us to wake up to that, for you, I want to switch gears and just speak about you. For you, when we talk about medicine, right? For you, singing is a spirit medicine. So to see sound as a medicinal and healing tool, you created something called soul opera. For those not familiar with the gift in the genre that is soul opera, could you just define in your own words what this is and where it came from?
Yeah. So I have to give credit where it's due. The term soul opera came by the help and brains of Shaman Durek, because it originally was cosmic opera. And I've had a wild journey with it, because I used to do cosmic opera rooms in Clubhouse. And a friend of mine named it cosmic opera when he saw that I used classical voice while channeling certain sound or frequencies and transmit light language. So my friend Raj he's like, wow, this is like cosmic opera. You just threw it out there. And my voice has had a journey since I was a teenager. I've been in choir, I have been singing, and I learned an aria, which is an opera, in my senior year of high school. And that was my party trick. I would sing to perform, and I would sing to share this performance or this amazing talent that I had. But now I sing to activate and to transmit. And I love that I get to share the world of classical voice and non-traditional or metaphysical practices, because it is very visceral for me. I'm very somatic. I have body convulsions, I have light language come through. It goes from classical operatic voice to then, channeling ancient tribal lineages, which invokes something in people.
That just gave me goosebumps just as you're saying that, right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. When I have had the great pleasure of actually being in your presence and hearing you share this.
Mm-hmm.
When I first heard you sing, I cried. With no words sung, it was the sound of your voice that stirred something inside me. And what is it through this gift that you hope to stir inside other people? What do you want to stir up with your voice?
Yeah, so I thought about this, and it's less about what I want to stir in people and more about what I aim to invoke.
Mm-hmm.
And I aim to invoke peace and harmony and connection and this power to release, because I have had the experience of sharing this medicine and people coming up to me afterwards who maybe aren't as keen to release or open up, and it invokes a certain emotion or a certain opening for them to release, whether it's energetic or emotion. And I love that I get to bring that. And I also love that I get to bring permission for people to be out of the spiritual closet, because it's really just not about singing. And that's what I want to get across to people, is that it's very vulnerable to share that part of yourself when that part is usually shared in ceremony, or if you're channeling, you're maybe in a room where you're working with your spirit guides, and it's all contained in a closet. But I've been inviting a new way of sharing this type of medicine by going to events or dinner parties, or just doing it in front of groups of people, and not leaving it for just this ceremonial aspect. Because I'm such a stand for us to step outside of the spiritual closet, and I've spoken about this before. This is another form of accepting this as the norm, and I'm not here to convince people. And I may sing it sometimes for people who are not receptive to it or are not ready to receive it, but it's really not my job to make sure that they're ready for it. It's an experience. So everyone's going to have a different experience. They might have something about my shaking. They might have something about my light language, but that, again, that's coming out of the spiritual closet. It's not just keeping it in ceremony or, going into a space where you can express yourself. So I really aim to invoke that within people, to allow people to fully express themselves quantumly.
Well, you do so in such a beautiful way. Are you interested in sharing what that sounds like, or not to put you on the spot, Tanya?
Yeah, I could.
But, yeah.
Let me. Yeah, I can share a little.
All right, I will listen.
Okay.
Can you see the goosebumps? I don't know. Can you see them? Because they're here. Oh my goodness gracious. First and foremost, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. What an incredible gift. And I think is inspiring, besides just the beauty that it is, the beauty that you can hear and that you can feel. As you mentioned, I mean, this is a vulnerable thing, right? To be able to step outside and to share. And what an inspiration it is for other people to be inspired by that, and to allow themselves, to give themselves permission to be vulnerable. And what an incredible gift, and what a strength comes from that in yourself, and then the people that you share it with. And Thank you.
Oh, thank you for seeing that and just being open to exploring more of it. I think your reaction at the dinner party was just, it was so nourishing and so exciting, you know, because you have this exhilaration about you when you get excited about things. And it was an honor to just be presented by you and for you to share your reflection of what you were experiencing in that small micro moment. So it was really special.
Well, yeah, I mean, I felt like, and here's the thing, it's like when you experience something, I felt I'd be quite selfish if I didn't have it shared with everyone else, for me to be the only one to like experience that. Shame on me. I'm like, no, you must hear. Yeah, wow, Tanya, what incredible. I'm hoping to hear more of soul opera, and I'm excited for other people to have that experience too, because it's not just hearing you, it's experiencing.
Totally.
Right. Yeah. So, and like you're saying about to channel it. And I feel that that's something that a lot of people, when they see someone on stage and like, wow, I could never do that. But when you realize that you are the vessel, you are the conduit, like this is not about you. This is about a gift that you've received that you get to share, whether you're singing or you're speaking or you're performing. That totally. It is when we can take ourselves outside of ourselves and realize that we're part of something so much bigger than we are, what confidence and comfort comes from that. And I don't think I've ever seen a clearer example than what you have presented.
I love that.
I love you.
Oh, I love you.
This is just, okay, this is not an interview, this is a love fest, okay? Yeah. So, but, you know, back into interview mode here, you know, for those, this is very important, for those who have a voice that they want to raise, they feel called to raise, either personally or professionally, but they are too afraid of being seen, of being heard. What advice would you give to them? Yeah,
okay, that's good. It always comes down to that advice, right? Because it's not just about me. My message to people is that for people to get that by sharing your gift or your talent or that message or that story or that service, it is an act of service to share. So I really want people to get that. It is an act of service to share that part of yourself. So it's not, the goal isn't to become something. It's just knowing that you're giving this service to other people because it's a reminder and a permission slip for other people to step into that courage and rise up. And people don't realize that by sharing, whether it's a singing video or a poem or a thought or a message that you have, there's an impact by sharing because someone is catching fire of that, and that's giving someone else the courage to step into that. So I truly believe that, because when I was sharing cosmic opera in the clubhouse rooms, I was doing these cosmic opera rooms, this woman came in and she vulnerably shared that she's like terrified to express herself. And somehow she got the courage to sing. So she shared her voice, she sang. And you know, whether she was good or not, it didn't matter. It was just her connection to allowing herself to experience herself, to fully release and express without the fear of looking good or looking bad, and if people will judge her or not judge her. So she had that freedom, and there was this liberation on the other side. And I started noticing that in these rooms, it was not about singing. It was about expression and allowing your voice to come through, whatever that looked like. Maybe it was just your voice, maybe it was just a poem, maybe it was singing, maybe it was some intuitive thing that you were sharing. Our voice carries so much truth and power. Yeah. And people don't realize we're creating permission slips everywhere, all the time, you know? So, and it might not be comfortable it might not be comfortable for someone to step into that and share for 100 people. So my suggestion is to start small, start with a group or start with your friends and family, and then work your way up to there. And it doesn't matter if you're publicly known or if you're famous, your voice matters. And I think I took on the role of a publicist, and maybe just this role that I'm taking on as sharing more of my gift with Soul Opera is that people's voice matters. And it could be one person or two people, but they're creating some kind of ripple. There's some impact there. So, yeah, I know a lot of people that are not publicly known, and their voice matters, and they're larger than life, and they're creating impact in the world, but they're not publicly known. So I just want, like, my last thought is be daring with your voice and be daring with your heart, because the world is truly waiting for you to do that. And the world is like, you're an expression of the world.
Okay, goosebumps again. when you just said just now, because the world is waiting for you. And I love how you speak about permission slips. And I think so often, why is it that we feel like we need permission to do and be these things? And for some reason, that's the case. And so thank you for, well, and so it's like you say, right? That sharing is caring. It goes back to that sort of cliche thing that we hear, share, but it truly is. And when we share of ourselves, we give of ourselves, so it absolutely is a service. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. That's beautiful recreating.
Well, I'm just saying what you said. That's how it is. Oh my goodness, so much. Thanks for taking the time to have this conversation, Tanya, and to help us all become a bit more aware now. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you.
AwareNow. That was a beautiful, powerful message. AwareNow. Every story, every person you connect with, it is just allowing people to be more aware.
Right? Like with every story, with every moment, it's even the micro moment that you referenced, these are the moments that there's I can't remember, it's a famous poem of some sort, but the little drops of ocean, the little grains of sand make the mighty ocean and the desert land. Thus the little moments, humble though they be, make the mighty ages of eternity. So it is that eternity.
Yeah.
What you just shared here, that is part of it.
Yeah.
And I just love you.
Oh, the love is mutual. I'm like family for life. This really worked out so nicely.
So glad that we had this time and we had this conversation, and excited to share your message, your voice, and all that you've shared with me, with others, as we all should in turn do. And again, thanks for helping us all become more aware now, Tanya. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Allie.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
So much.